Welcome to Wargroove! Both players in this PvP match sent me the code and insisted that I watch this game. So I imagine this is going to be one of the greatest games we've ever seen, or have something amazing in it. Let's find out. Alright, in the bottom, in green, playing the new commander Rhomb, we have previous number 2 in the world and current number 3 Mastro. And in the top in yellow, we have number 1 in the world, the current world champion, the GOAT, Saykoya. I imagine between these two, this is going to be an amazing game. Rhomb is trucking up the right side of the map with the cute little mouse soldiers and that dragon boat grabbing the left side. Both players are still going for very similar, if not identical strategies, and we see Mastro kill their commander. Rhomb is now at 80% health and will be able to threaten that fortified village, possibly doing some big damage there. Saykoya is going for a heal as well. Their heal is a little bit less aggressive due to a slight difference in the way they opened. This could give Mastro a big advantage in that their commander is more far forward. Saykoya put some swords in the way to try to stop Rhomb, but Rhomb is a very powerful commander, and we see it one-shot the sword, giving Mastro an early lead. I really like that. Mastro has a lot of gold. They build the new Flamingo Rider unit. I think technically they're called Air Troopers, but I will be referring to them as Flamingo Riders because that is just what I see on the board. I cannot help it. Saykoya already had a Flamingo and captured the island village. You can only capture that village using a Flamingo or aquatic unit, very important. And that last sword runs away, seeing its partner brutally destroyed by the giant buff mouse. We see Saykoya bringing in a bunch of units, a knight, some swords, lots of swords, to try to stop the mighty mouse from taking out the fortified village. Will Mastro back off here? A little bit. Instead of attacking the fortified village, Mastro chooses instead to attack this much weaker sea village, farming even more groove and doing more damage to Saykoya's economy. Saykoya was willing to sacrifice the sword the turn before, so the fortified village's extra defense would give it just enough to survive Mastro on this turn, and that is why Mastro did not attack it. We see now Saykoya has a full health commander with Koji, a very powerful commander, and a dragon sweeping down the left side of the map. Dragons are very powerful when your opponent does not have a witch, and so it's very good to be the first player to build one. Once witches are on the field, they can be a little bit reduced in value. We see a knight going into... Ooh! It's just gonna knock down Mastro's lumber mill. That's gonna cost them a lot of gold. Now that lumber mill is not regrowing forests, it's contributing to deforestation, ironically, while not cutting trees. Weirdest mechanic ever. Anyway, Mastro now is gonna be missing some gold. They've gotta try to take that back. We see the Mighty Mouse, though, actually has groove already from all the incredible damage it's been doing. Mastro's own dragon comes in to defend, and we see the Mighty Mouse is not afraid of any dragon. It just walks right up to the fortified village and punches it in the face. However, the fortified village is able to hold out. Maybe Mastro could have attacked it last turn, actually. Mastro sets up a bunch of knights and is trying to scare Saykoya off their own fortified village. For knocking it down, Saykoya did 200 gold worth of eco damage to Mastro, and Saykoya is kind of taking the lead now. Mastro has to be a little bit careful, despite their amazing Mighty Mouse. I don't know why I keep calling it Mighty Mouse. Again, I just call the units what they look like. Saykoya's dragon boats are flying, or swimming, I guess, down the right side of the map, and the dragon flies in to knock down the lumber mill again. Saykoya is not allowing Mastro to get any money from that lumber mill. And as you can see, the trees around it refuse to grow while the lumber mill is down. It's a very sustainable lumber mill. It replants the trees every turn you own it. But while no one owns it, the trees are just cut forever. Wargroove logic. Mastro swoops in with the dragon? Well, that's an owl, I guess it's called a sky child, and takes out one of Saykoya's knights. However, that dragon is in a really tough spot. As you can see, the witch is in range to hit it. Oh, but Mastro has a plan! Mastro has a plan to save their dragon. Rhomb uses their groove, Crystal Heart, to become Super Rhomb, taking out a sword. And we see Mastro is putting a unit into the barge to cover the other side of the dragon. Now the witch can't get to the dragon, it should be perfectly safe. Additionally, Mastro has trapped Saykoya's own dragon, possibly planning to kill it. However, although it's only turn 9, Mastro only has 24 minutes left on the clock. That is not a lot of time. Meanwhile, Saykoya has 38 minutes left. I can safely say that this is something that Mastro is known for, being a little bit slower in games, and as a result, it's not the best situation. We see Saykoya was able to destroy one of the knights, trapping it, doing a lot of damage to Mastro's army, doing some damage to Mastro's villages, and just moving in. Still, this was a really good turn for Mastro, not only killing a knight and trading it for another knight, and I guess trading it for a sword. No, the sword lives, I think, maybe, I don't know. But Mastro is going to be able to kill the dragon outright, which will be very good. The dragons are worth 1,250 gold. Even though witches are on the field now, it'll still give Mastro a bit of an advantage to be the only player with a dragon. Alright, now Crystal Heart expires and Rhomb returns to normal. They've got to play this a little bit carefully. Wow! Mastro does not hesitate. The dragon goes right in to destroy that rifle. The mage cannot reach it, and I don't think the witch can either, but we'd have to check. Mastro is now attacking right into Saykoya's villages, and the mighty Rhomb goes in too, dealing tons of damage. Rhomb just, punches it, and the village is defeated. That's basically how it works. A golem is coming out for Mastro in order to hold, and Mastro uses the old frog and rifle trick to move the rifle into range to hit a sword. It doesn't take it out, but it does a good bit of damage. We see Mastro lining up night crits on the stronghold. Mastro is pushing for the win right now, and of course their witch takes out the dragon in a single strike, something you can do in Wargroove 2. Mastro then defends their witch with a bunch of swords. Mastro could have just put a mage behind it, but they're making absolutely sure their witch is safe so Saykoya can't build any more air, and then brings their mage down to defend against possible witch walls. Mastro has a really solid position right now, although their economy is in shambles. Oh, the sneaky mage. Mastro apparently didn't see that mage or didn't account for it, but it was able to hit the dragon, dealing big damage. That's not so worth it for Mastro? Maybe it is. It killed a rifle, so as long as that 1 health and forced the witch to hex. So I guess that dragon did about, maybe accounting for other things, 800 gold worth of damage. If it could just do 400 gold more, worth it. If not, maybe not worth it. Who knows? Saykoya is putting a lot of units around their stronghold and seems pretty safe. Koji is coming in with Groove, and now it looks like Mastro is in a bit of trouble. Maybe their attack wasn't as scary as it looked. The riverboats on Saykoya's right side, and Mastro's right side as well, I guess, continue to destroy, the right side of the map. Mastro is in a bit of trouble, and they're just kind of getting overwhelmed at sea. We see Mastro chooses to continue to attack. They are not going to back off. They do run their commander a little bit a ways, but continue to attack villages. Really nice sword crit on the fortified village, taking it out. That's going to lose Saykoya 200 gold every turn while that's down. Meanwhile, Mastro has a golem pushing up the left side of the map and is totally fine there. Mastro does not need to dedicate any more units to the left side. It is totally and perfectly defended. In fact, Mastro could even push forward, and that seems to be what they're doing. Mastro's playing really well, and they have what looks to be like a winning position, if not for the fact that they only have 13 minutes left on the clock. Meanwhile, Saykoya has a solid 24 minutes left. Huge speed difference between the two. Saykoya continues to destroy these villages, denying Mastro Groove every single turn and bringing their anti-air harpoon ship closer and closer. Wow, we see the mighty Kraken comes in from Saykoya, dealing damage to that hero mouse, defending that village all on its own. Koji comes in and wipes out those adorable mice. I am so sad for the mice. We see a sword crit retaking this village. I don't think the crit was necessary, but it's certainly stylish. And now Saykoya gets another crit, dealing more damage to Rhomb's adorable mice. But that one mouse fights back. Let's go. Oh, and gets the night crit on the lumber mill. Saykoya has been decapturing that lumber mill every single game. Clearly, Saykoya wants a monopoly on the lumber trade. They're just, oh, how dare you open a lumber mill across the little lake there from mine. I'm not going to allow that to happen. Really nice hex coming out from the witch, doing quite a lot of damage, and Saykoya bringing in their own golem. It looks like Rhomb will not be attacking this stronghold anytime soon. Also, Mastro's dragon is just in the top left of the map, derping around, I guess. I don't know what it's doing up there. We see Mastro has a lot of gold this turn, even without the lumber mill, even with their right side under attack. They were able to push into Saykoya's territory. They're now going for even more stuff in Saykoya's territory, and taking out this village will allow some rifle shenanigans to happen. Sure enough, there's the rifle shot. Big damage to those swords, and another sword runs in to finish it off. Mastro's taking advantage of Saykoya's very defensive position on the top right, reclaiming that village and threatening Saykoya's territory. Mastro also has a small naval force built up on the left side of the map, and it is finally moving forward, able to threaten off the tower, able to take villages. It's about equal in force to Saykoya's. Right now, though, Mastro only has 11 minutes left on the clock, and is just running backwards with their commander, with their army, trying to get away from Saykoya's wall of death as much as possible. We see the Harpy go in on the dragon boat, taking it out, but this means the Harpy can go down to the very powerful harpoon ship that is right next to it. It looks like Mastro is planning on using the dragon and two Harpies to scare away the harpoon ship, since it can only attack one of them. It can attack both. The harpoon, as expected, destroys the Harpy, and we see the Kraken tentacles the other Harpy, and then the barge blocks the harpoon, so the dragon can't even hit the anti-air units. This was a great move by Saykoya, and will keep their harpoon completely safe, allowing them to continue to destroy Mastro's air. Ultimately, that was not a great play by Mastro. They underestimated Saykoya's tentacle proficiency. That's going to become a thing now. Is your tentacle proficiency good enough to win Wargroove? Saykoya has Groove, but they don't need to use it right now. They're just building a powerful formation and doing damage wherever they can. This knight attack is a little bit weird since it wasn't necessary and won't kill the knight either, but it looks like it's just because Saykoya wants to go in with a lot of units and push Mastro back. It also forces Mastro to kind of fight into this knight in a situation where they really don't want to. Most of their forces are on the left side of the map, where Saykoya only has a few units slowing them down, and built a backup golem, so even if they do get there, Saykoya can just kind of stop them. This is what I was saying about this map before if you were watching the show match, but it's definitely easy to defend your HQ here. With just a slight rotation, you're perfectly safe. We see Mastro is finally attacking those sea villages on the left side, and has been taking their turns much faster. Bringing the village down is really good, and now their Kraken is hitting a village too. Whack. Every little bit of damage helps. We see the Golem taking down the village too. And although this is really good for Mastro taking more economy, they do have to be a little bit careful here. They're in danger of overextending on the left side and getting run over on the right. We see the Flamingo being used to do massive damage to the knight. That is often what Flamingos are great for. You will probably lose the Flamingo in the process, but damaging a knight is often worth it. And we see a sword crit coming in to finish it off. Very smart attack. Didn't quite finish it off, though. And another sword does the job. But this means a Flamingo and 3 swords will be in range of Saykoya's army, which of course is exactly what Saykoya wanted in putting the knight there. Knowing that they have no choice but to commit now, otherwise they'll lose too much army, Mastro's going in on Saykoya's Flamingos, just using swords. This is a pretty efficient attack, because even though they might lose more units, they're taking out powerful units like knights and flamingos. Also, the tentacle was not enough to stop the mighty dragon from hitting the harpoon. It was able to do it anyway. It seems Mastro was the mastermind of that battle, after all, and an archer even steps into the fray to deal massive damage to the dragon boat. With another harpy being built, it looks like Mastro has control over both naval fronts. And that dragon doesn't know what it's doing. Right now, it does look like Mastro is winning, but you have to remember that ultimately, Saykoya, in addition to tentacling a dragon, has way more time on their clock than Mastro does. Mastro really needs to win the game soon, and Saykoya does not. All Saykoya has to do is keep making trades and make it so Mastro will not be able to build up a big enough army to take this stronghold. And that's exactly what Saykoya is doing. They're taking unit after unit, dealing massive damage to the adorable mice. Boo! Adorable mice, best faction. I really like the Fari. They're so cute. They're just adorable. They're like these little mice soldiers. Ooh, and Saykoya gets the crit right there, dealing massive damage. We've seen both of these players are using sword crits really well. Saykoya can now just pick off the remaining swords and has a massive unit count lead over their opponent. And another sword is going down. Saykoya is just destroying Mastro's forces. Oh no. And the knight goes in to take down the village. I don't know how Mastro is going to win this game in the next 5 minutes, but let's check the overview to see how the players are doing. Mastro has a massive economy, and actually, despite losing so many units, they're not actually behind on unit count. This is probably due to their early attack that got them some big advantages, and their constant rifle poking. This means that even Saykoya's mighty attack was not enough to flip the tables against Mastro. However, like I said, the bigger issue here is time. Mastro is 5 minutes behind their opponent, who has 10 minutes left. All Saykoya has to do is stall the game. They do not need to win. Meanwhile, Mastro needs to win. Mastro's determined to attack every village they can and deplete Saykoya's economy as fast as possible. This is actually the right thing to do if you're low on time, because it sort of forces your opponent to actually play the game instead of just ignoring you. Unfortunately, Saykoya has 2 golems defending, and another golem on the other side. They're going to be able to stall for a good long while. We see units going in, dealing big damage to a village. And nice, Rhomb is taking out that village as well. Saykoya is going to be suffering from economy for sure, and this will give Mastro the ability to just overwhelm Saykoya with big powerful units and play the game even faster. I really like what Mastro's doing, and I think it's absolutely the right strategy. Another sword goes down, and Mastro's playing this really fast. This could be a comeback. Mastro's technically winning. Their clock is just a little bit too low. And to be fair, if you need to take 20 minutes on your first few turns to outplay your opponent was outplaying you. It's totally fair that Mastro's in this position. Saykoya just played better and faster. But now they really do need to end the game. Mastro's dominating the naval front, taking out so many units. But I don't think they're playing as fast as possible. If they were, we'd see Mastro take 1 or 2 second turns, but we're seeing 4 and 8 second turns. This means that Mastro is playing a little bit slower than they theoretically could. Dragon goes in, dealing big damage to the rifle. No, dealing almost no damage whatsoever to the rifle, even though it's standing on road. Oh, the dragon nerfs. Oh, the dragon nerfs. Meanwhile, Saykoya is happy to continue to take that lumber mill. Saykoya does not want to allow Mastro anything. And of course, remember all those golems from before? Saykoya is marching in to destroy the mice. Boom! Boom! Oh, those poor little mice. They are no match for the mighty Heavensong Empire. Archer hit, yeah, Saykoya is just making trades, and it's all Saykoya needs to do. As long as Mastro can't win the game, Saykoya is happy to keep doing this, because it will keep the game going long enough for them to just time Mastro out. Dogs come in, dealing big damage to Rhomb. The Flamingo! Oh, the Flamingo! Mastro might have overextended a little bit taking that village. Saykoya is getting a lot of attacks here. We even see Saykoya pushing into Mastro's stronghold, so that Mastro will now have to calculate defending their stronghold while trying to end the game. This is not an easy thing to do. Being licked to death by mechanical frogs is a sad way to go. Saykoya brings in their witch. They finally take out that pesky 1-health dragon. That's an owl. Owl! Not a dragon. The rifle comes in. Oh, and Saykoya can now just run away, but they're continuing to take care of Mastro's army. And that sword is another thing Mastro will have to be distracted with killing. Like, if they had another 40 minutes, Mastro might win this game? Maybe? But Saykoya is just building a golem a turn. We see Saykoya pulls the golem towards them. I don't know why exactly they chose to do that. Sorry, Mastro pulls Saykoya's golem towards them. And now Mastro is actually trying to destroy Saykoya's barracks to stop the endless flow of golems. We see the swords go in, taking out an archer. But realistically, Mastro just doesn't have enough near the barracks to sustain a push. They'd have to wait a little bit longer for their naval forces to get just a little bit closer to the barracks. Mastro just doesn't have time, though. They don't have enough time for that. We see the golem attacking a golem. That is one way to fight. But remember, a golem's crit conditions... I was distracted by how they were punching each other. The golem's crit conditions ultimately make it so that if they're down to 40 health, then they can crit, and they deal damage like a full health... Whoa, we see Crystal Heart! Was this tier 1 groove? Tier 2 groove? It looks really strong here. And we see Rhomb just obliterate that knight. This is tier 2 groove because it happened at range. This means Rhomb is going to be at 1.75 times defense. Rhomb is going to be insanely tanky. And possibly invincible. Well, not really invincible, just at 1.75 times defense, which is really tanky. You almost need double the amount of damage to kill Rhomb, and Rhomb is at full health right now. We see a lot of damage going into Koji. I don't know about that groove, though. While killing the knight was nice, Rhomb probably should have held on to it and tried for something game-winning with it, but I can understand why they didn't. After all, Koji can use bombs and golems on the stronghold. This might be GG already. I mean, Koji can probably just destroy the stronghold here. Oh, but that's not what Saykoya is doing. Saykoya is running a sword into Rhomb. That did a lot of damage, actually. It didn't look like 1.75 reduced damage. That's doing a lot of damage. I guess it's sort of half damage, though. Wow, another sword! Saykoya is sacrificing multiple swords into Rhomb, and Rhomb is still able to destroy them all, thanks to his own increased damage. Witch Hex comes in. Wow! Is Saykoya gonna try to defeat Rhomb? Is Saykoya gonna try to lethal Rhomb? Pulls the beetle into Rhomb, defeating both of them and damaging Rhomb by 20, because that's how that works. Sacrifices another unit. Oh, wow. Saykoya is trying to lethal Rhomb. This is unnecessary, but it's awesome. We see double Koji groove. We see sword crit. We see mage come in. It's not gonna be enough. How does Saykoya finish it? Harpy comes in. That is gonna be enough. Saykoya lethals Rhomb in tier 2 groove. It would be more accurate to say Saykoya lethals Rhomb almost because of tier 2 groove. Alright, well that was a good game. Welcome to War Groove. I just had to do that game because Saykoya and Mastro both asked me to stream it and do commentary. Well, technically they just said watch it, and then Saykoya was like, no, watch it on stream. And I was like, okay, so I restarted the stream to watch it. Oh, that was a good game. That was a good game.